Hello, Richard. Good afternoon. It looks like you're sat in an old Fiesta here, mate, that's got no glass in it or door handles or interior.
No, I don't know whether this is previously been stolen or partly broken for parts or... No, I'm only joking. Partway through a project.
It looks like, I'll be honest with you, Richard, it looks like it's partway through a project.
Yeah, it is very much partway through a project. But to be fair, the underneath is dead clean, all powder coated, painted, bushed and everything else. And the engine bay and everything is immaculate.
It's got a proper exhaust on it, ain't it? I wonder how loud it's going to be. Should we go and have a look at what engine's actually in this?
I'll go and have a look at the engine.
Okay. Okay, well, obviously it's at Dynodaze, so it's got a K20 engine in it, and it is looking pretty fresh and lovely in here, and Richard's already done a bit of work on it. He's installed a power steering pump, but we'll come to that tomorrow. At this part of the video, what we're doing is we're setting up a base file, giving it a bit of a shakedown, and seeing how far we get with tuning it. But it's got some nice parts that we'll list at the end, but just as a bit of an intro, here she is in its current form, and I know there doesn't look like there's much of it, but it's certainly going to make some noises in a moment, I think. So Richard's plugged into a K Pro. Let's see what we can do, eh?
That's it.
Okay, it's a 5-minute break from tuning, let it all cool down a little bit, and I've got our Richard Ellis to come and describe exactly what he's done with this power steering. So it didn't have power steering when it came in?
It's got a power steering rack, but a lot of time with these conversions, they're power steering rack but no power steering, because the EP3 engine obviously has, well, the engine doesn't have power steering pump, but obviously the power steering is electronic. So what we've done, they've obviously done a lovely job of what they've done here anyway. They've got a junction box down here for power to the starter motor and everything. So we took power from that junction box, come around to an inline fuse, come across the front of the car, power to the pump, earth obviously at the pump, and a trigger feed from the pump which we put on a switch inside the car, because he's got his ignition in his starter and all this on switches, so I assume he's putting switches in the dash at some stage and they'll all go in there. So we just added the switch for now, and then done the power steering lines. So obviously proper power steering lines crimped on both ends, running down to the rack, using the original tails on the Fiesta rack, and then obviously return from the rack. Works lovely. It's got power steering.
You've done a few of these, haven't you? Power steering on K-Swaps.
It's an electronic / hydraulic in it. So it's basically, instead of having to fit a very expensive DC5 power steering pump in the conversion, you can buy an electronic pump and then convert the lines to obviously run to your manual, to your hydraulic rack basically.
Oh, I got you.
So the pump just replaces the pump on the engine, which one is better for power, and two, I think that they generally look okay when they're fitted in the engine bay. They don't look that unsightly or out of place. Obviously, when you look at how this one's been done, there's so much stuff here, you know, like the aircon's missing, but the induction kit's there, and it's got the massive inlet. You wouldn't be able to put a power steering pump on there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a good option for that. Made some custom brackets, obviously mounted it up and stuff, but yeah, overall, really happy with that.
Okay, you calling that lunch?
I'm calling it lunch.
Right. Well, we'll have some lunch. We'll be back with some power figures.
Some more tuning.
Tunings. I know what you're doing.
Let's have a look at that.
Right, Jeno?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's a K-Swap, ain't it?
It certainly is. Yeah, nicely executed, nice painted engine bay, all in the hole, all nice and done.
It's in the hole.
Couple of silly little issues I think that we've had along the way. For some reason it's leaking fuel from the filler neck. I don't really understand why it's doing that. We've not had to put fuel in it, and it seems okay whilst the engine's running. As soon as the engine's not running, it seems to
expel.
Almost expel, however you want to put it, and then come out of the filler neck. So I'm not really too sure what's going on there. So we've been very cautious this afternoon whilst we're gingerly finishing the map off, because we've done, I'd say 90% of it yesterday.
Yeah.
We ran out of time at the end of the day, so we've finished the power steering mod this morning and then moved on to finishing the map off. To be fair, we probably only had about 5 pulls in it, so I thought, get it done, get it sorted. Customer can have it back, then he can have a look at that issue and fix that, can't he?
Indeed,
And we've not got to have it back at another point to do anything with it.
Now, it's made 241 brake horsepower.
It has indeed.
It's got some mods that I've not seen before, like this great big throttle body, and this is a proper Skunk 2 Ultra Series.
Yeah, it's more like, that's more like the drag application. That's like what the big drag boys use, in my opinion, that sort of thing. I think it's total overkill for this setup. Nice to map on it, never mapped on one before, so you know it's nice to have something different and be tuned on something different. But I think for complete overkill in this application, this car, the engine has been open and been rebuilt. But it's had new bearings and everything in it. It's not had any performance upgrades, so we're still on stock cams. It's still on stock pistons. It's just had a refresh. It's had new rings. It's had new bearings. It's just been rebuilt basically. Obviously, it's got the massive Ultra Series inlet manifold, the one with the centre facing down throttle body, 3.5 inch induction kit, lovely induction kit. A absolutely stunning exhaust manifold. I'm assuming custom made 3-inch exhaust. With twin back boxes. It's sort of, it's, you know, real good size basically. Yeah. Even at that V where it V's out, I don't think it would be causing a restriction. It's massive. And then obviously out to 2 back boxes and done. And yeah, it sounds great. I think that all of those mods are superb. I think where we are now is we're at the natural limits of what the stock engine can flow. I think where we would make more power now is a set of cams. You know, if he wants to make that extra 15-20 brake,
I think there's a lot of projects to complete here before he revisits making any more power.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's in the car, made 240. It'll be quick in this car. I mean, bearing in mind these cars, even the Z-Tech S came with like 90 horsepower. It's, you know, they didn't make an ST150 in this shape, so you're probably getting 90 to 100 horsepower. Yeah. So to be 140 up in this shell will be great anyway, won't it? You know what I mean? Yeah, like I say, the car's got to be completed as regards paint and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to do. It's still in there at the moment. I'm sure he'll be happy with what's
definitely somebody's project that is perhaps a third of the way through.
Almost certainly.
Could do with some windows, couldn't he?
Well, that's all part of the paint process. You get paint done and then get the windows in.
But yeah, what a car! What something interesting, something a little bit different from the norm, and yeah, we've enjoyed it. And the power steering works wonders, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We've got some power steering, so
yeah, fantastic. Well,
right, should we have a look
let's have a look at the graph. Come on. So there we go. Finally mapped up. Nice graph. Finishing on 241 brake, which is 199 at the wheels. As you can see, it is requiring some further completion, but what a gem underneath the hood. Beautiful. For a code word, I think for the end of this video, if you bothered to get this far, I think we're going to go with Skunk 2. I'd like Skunk 2 as the code word. So thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe if you fancy it, and hit the notification icon. It looks like a bell. So hit that and you'll get to see all of our videos and you'll get notified and stuff. And do come and join us for a live video weekday mornings from about 8:30 onwards, where we start our day and say hello and wish everybody well. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Ooh.
Said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.